The intuition, the little voice inside each one of us. It knows exactly what it's supposed to do. It knows what's best for us. But do we always listen to our intuitions? In my recent experience, I have been dancing with this gal for a couple months, and she's attractive, and I'm attracted to her. But is she attracted to me? That is the question that I always want to know the answer. From my observation, she's never really shown enough indicators of interest. And even when I checked with my intuition, it told me that she's not that really interested in me. The problem is, I didn't want that to be the case. I want things to work out with this girl. So I intentionally look for evidence to prove that she's also attracted to me. I think as a human being, we often delude ourselves and look for evidence to support what we want to happen, despite the fact that all the signs are against us. Even though my intuition was communicating loudly and clearly, I still didn't want to accept it and tried to seek advice from the people that I knew, hoping that they would tell me something differently than what my gut already told me. Deep down, I knew exactly what was the right thing to do for me, which was to move on and explore options with other women. Oftentimes, we know what's the best thing to do by listening to our intuitions. But if the intuition says something different than the outcome we hope for, we often ignore, start bullshitting ourselves, and find another way to make it work. And guess what? As a result, we only end up suffering and confusing even more. Many times, the hard thing is the thing that we need to do the most. In my example, the hard thing would be to accept that there's a very good chance it wouldn't work out between me and her, and that I need to stop investing time, energy, and mental space for this girl ASAP and start going out and meeting other women. Doing the hard thing that the intuition tells you to do is never easy. That's why it's called the hard thing. But it will definitely benefit you in the long run. Most of the time, we know exactly what we need to do. We know that we shouldn't take that job. We know that we shouldn't go out with that girl. We know that we need to leave that relationships. But because the pain of the unknown, the pain of the discomfort, the pain of losing something familiar, they hold us back from doing the right things for us. So to avoid those pains, we often bullshit ourselves and rationalize with different reasons why we should stay in that relationships, why we should stay with that job, why we should stay in that toxic friendships, even though deep down the intuition already told you what you need to do. Another point worth mentioning is having self-respect. Deep down inside, when I know someone is not that interested in me, not trying hard to get to know me like how I want to get to know her, I must get out ASAP and find someone else who is more reciprocated. So the question is really no longer about how can I get this gal on a date, but more about why should I take her out? Is she good for me? Is she really that into me? As a guy, it's so easy and tempting to just mainly focus on beauty, especially if you haven't gone out with many attractive women before. That's why we need to be conscious of this concept and have the strength and self-respect to walk away from a situation like this. Because if you continue to pursue someone who is not that interested in you, you unconsciously communicate with the universe that you're not worthy of love. And guess what? If you don't believe you're worthy of love, Life will never reward you with the love you deserve. This is just a test from life to see if you have the gut to really go for what you deserve. Life will often throw not so great but not so bad options to see if you take it. Most people love the comfortable and easy zone and absolutely avoid any discomfort or inconvenience. And that's why they often settle for mediocre choices. And then they bullshit themselves with some of logical bullshit reasons to justify why it's okay to stay average. Your intuition is almost always right. I say almost because I want to give room for error, but I personally never experienced a situation where the intuition is wrong. Listening to your intuition may not be easy to do, especially when the outcome is way different than what you hope for. But it is always the best thing you can do for your future self. When you listen to your gut, you can be sure that you are making the right decisions for you. Why? Because when you listen to your intuition, you feel peaceful. You don't experience much resistance. God gives you wisdom, and it's called intuition. It knows what it's doing. When you're in doubt about your decision, stop thinking and worrying. Just listen and follow your intuition. Let go of the need to understand. Just trust it and have faith that things will always work out for you. When your intuition tells you to do something and you ignore it, you will suffer later. And guess what? You will doubt yourself even more. On the other hand, when you listen and trust your intuition, even though a current situation may not be what you want it to be, you will experience peace. You will be more confident in your decisions. So until next time, stop bullshitting yourself and start listening to your intuition. Hey, thank you for listening to my podcast. If you got any value out of it, appreciate your ratings and reviews. That means the world to me. My hope is that no matter what you go through in life, have faith and never stop believing in yourself. And until next time, always be your awesome, badass, authentic self.